Hi, in this video we will talk about 3 life lessons which I have learned from my PhD journey. Hi, I'm Prerna and I'm an artist, an art professional, and I have done my PhD in art history in the last few years, and I have learned 3 major lessons from my PhD which will be helpful for my entire life now onwards. So here we go. One of the life lessons which I have learned from my PhD is having patience. The work requires a lot of patience. I did my PhD in 5.5 years, and that's a long time to finish any one project. In an office where we go and work every day, there are tasks to complete every single day, and there are small wins and successes which are attached to that work. But in the case of PhD, there are no instant rewards, and you do not feel like completing anything until it is actually finished. Every chapter, although you have to finish each chapter and you feel a little bit of joy once completing that, but it is nothing in front of what a completion actually looks like. It's like you have to immediately start the next chapter and end the next chapter. So the completion comes only when the PhD is over. So it teaches you to have delayed gratification and not an instant one. So this was one of the major life lessons I have learned during my PhD, which I'm still continuing to carry forward. The second major life lesson I have learned during my PhD is consistency. So while we work on a project, we have to find new things, new trajectories, new discourses, new books, new learnings. Everywhere we go, we do field work, we have to find new connections, new ways of talking to people, new ways of looking at things. It's like the perspective has to be novel to reach to new conclusions in your PhD. And that's what PhD teaches you, to be consistent in your novelty and to be consistent in your work. You have to follow your routines every single day, even when you don't feel like following it. So the feeling comes later than the consistency in PhD, and that is how you learn to keep your feelings and your moods aside and work on your project even though you are not feeling like working on them. The third thing which I have learned from my PhD is balance. So this is one of the major things which I want to talk about, because balance, it's very difficult to learn balance. So there are things which we always see in black and white. It's mostly the case in life, we see things in black and white. We are very limited in our thinking. But PhD teaches you to be in gray areas, in zones where there is no in and out, there is no end and start. You have to be there for as long as you can without thinking an end or a start to anything. For example, when you finish a PhD, a project is although completed and you have submitted your thesis, it is still not a complete work for people to read. If you want it to reach people, the readers, the viewers, the audience, then you have to write a book or convert it into a book so that people can get it from shops. Nobody reads your PhD. It's not a perfect work anyway. So it's like, even though it has a perfection of its own kind, you still need a lot of work to properly build it into a book. So PhD teaches you to be in that state where completion is there, but still it's not there. You are in between, in this struggle throughout your 5.5 years or how long you do your PhD for. But it's worth the struggle, because you learn to balance yourself in the situations where there is no start and no end. So yeah, these 3 things I have learned from my PhD, and these things are these things are helping me in taking my life ahead after my PhD. So I would highly recommend doing a PhD because of the life lessons it teaches you, and we'll look forward to talk about it more in the next video. See you.